Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Jazzy Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing a horror movie night in the cave. We are starting our month long of 31 days of horror movies. Last year we did 31 straight days of brand new horror movies. It was awesome. We watched a lot of new stuff. Even kind of found a new genre that I liked through the process. This time we're going to go more into personal favorites. I was going to originally name it classics. But I have to realize that even though I like it, it does not make it a classic. Um, the movies we're talking about here came out. I mean, there's so many various years. The probably earliest one's going to be either Halloween, probably or Friday the 13th. I can't remember which one of those is first. I believe it's Halloween '78. Um, and that'll be later in the month, obviously, because that is a really good one. And we'll save the last kind of 10 for the top 10 of my personal favorites. But in saying that, they are not going to be in order because I will try and separate the Halloweens and some of the other franchises that we can because of just my personal favorites because of the way it ends up, kind of. But I already have that. Other than that, I'm just kind of looking around, finding what I can on the various services for free, really, from them. Right now, I've got a pretty good list going. It will continue. There are a lot of good movies out available on these services, so it is a great time to be a horror movie fan and all in general. Then one more quick thing is we are 15 views or 15 followers or whatever on Facebook away from being able to do like live streams and stuff. If we can do that eventually, be a good goal to get to. Not only because it'd be like a nice round number at 100, but because we could maybe like kind of make fun of some movies together while watching them. So if you do like these videos, please like, subscribe. The first movie we're going to talk about. See, usually how I do it is I'm going to break down the movies, then we're going to do all that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of just get them going out as quickly as possible here. The first one we're going to talk about here is Joyride, directed by John Dahl, starring Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, and Lily Sabisky. Three young people on a road trip from Colorado to New Jersey talk to a trucker on their CB radio, then must escape when he turns out to be a psychopathic killer. It took me probably like three viewings to like kind of get the movie because I was like kind of a little bit younger, and then just when you're coming out. And then not only that, to like appreciate the movie, and then after you kind of appreciate the movie, you realize that the killer here is the Silence of the Lambs guy and the the lieutenant from Monk. So that's kind of a funny little thing here. These two, like it's funny because two in the first week we almost hit on the date that they came out with. This is October 5th, 2001. Had a budget of $23 million and had an opening of 7.3 million with a gross of 36.6 million. So it was very successful. I think we ended up getting three of them. This was the only one with Paul Walker and Steve Zahn, though. I mean, this is the biggest named one. Obviously, with those three, even though Lily Sabisky kind of disappears after a while in Hollywood. Honestly, Steve Zahn's probably one of my most underrated favorite actors. Him or the him or oh, what's his name? God damn it, it doesn't matter. But him and then Paul Walker, of course, is in this, and this would have been right as around when Fast and the Furious came out, the first one. So interesting time period here. This is a great movie. There's so many good lines here. If you have not seen this movie, it is on Prime. I suggest watching it. That's probably for the younger viewers. The older viewers probably have seen it because it was always on. It's always on like TBS or something like that, especially around this time of year. So it is one to check out, and that is Joyride, directed by John Dahl. And then on October 2nd, I watched Babysitter, directed by Mick G, starring Judah Lewis, Samara Weaving, and Robbie Amell. When Cole stays up past his bedtime, he discovers that his babysitter belongs to an evil cult that will stop at nothing to keep him quiet. This one again is around the time, not as close as some of the other ones, but October 13th of 2017. This is the one that like restored my faith in horror movies. To be honest with you, when it came out on Netflix, it was so like not just original but funny. You can tell that Mick G and the writer of this definitely enjoyed the horror movie genre, understood the horror movie genre. The like big thing about this movie is really, and it took me kind of two viewings to catch it, but instead of one killer going after seven people or whatever ends up being in a horror movie, this kid kind of simultaneously takes out the killers going after him, and it's like seven of them. And it's just like a normal horror movie, so you still get the same good pacing. The cool stuff like is the comic book type like letterings and stuff like this. There's a lot of good, funny like key jokes that just that just hold up. The mom and dad in this are very good. Perfect like parents you would want for like this type of movie, especially for this type of kid. You kind of understand where it comes from. This is definitely one of the movies that if you've never seen that you should check out. It is on Netflix. It does have a sequel. We will not be covering the sequel, but it is worth watching the sequel. And Jenna Ortega is in the sequel of this. So, if that is something that would tickle your fancy, go ahead and check this out. Check this one out, and then check out the second one, and you'll kind of see like this is the start of Samara Weaving following for me too, because she just kind of kills the babysitter character in this, and there's so much to like about it. So definitely check that out. That is The Babysitter, directed by Mick G. And then on October 3rd here, we covered The Ring, directed by Gore Verbinski, starring Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, and Brian Cox. And I'm looking it up now because I was going to make a note about this, and I want to make sure that I'm right about this. This is a PG-13 horror movie. Um, I say I don't like these PG-13 horror movies, and I have two on this list, but at the same time, this movie is literally one of the scariest ones on the list, probably when at the time of it coming out. Not like now after you kind of go back and watch, but at the time of it coming out. A journalist must investigate a mysterious videotape which seems to cause the death of anyone 1 week to the day after they view it. It came out on October 18th, 2002. Had a budget of 48 million, had an opening of 15 million, and had a total gross of 249.3 million. It is a remake of Ringu from Japan. I'm telling you, I saw this movie in theaters, and this was the one and only movie I have ever walked out of and didn't want to finish. And you have to remember I was probably like 13, 14 years old when this movie came out. So, 14 years old when this movie came out. So, that is one thing to think about there to kind of give me a little break here. And I never did it again after this movie. So, but I did walk out of this movie, to be honest with you. It's funny because I watched it the second time, still didn't really like to get through it. And then the third time I watched it when I was like a little an adult, probably like oh my god, like right around COVID time. And like I was like, I can't believe like I was afraid of this movie. So that is how this movie is. If you have never seen it, it probably will kind of creep you out. There's a lot of creepy little subtitles in it. It's like the quick flashing screens is something that I wasn't used to, and then the kind of like like independent like that noir horror gore that you get from like the fancy movies that kind of threw me out with that too probably. But it's okay. I got over it and can laugh about it now. And that is The Ring, directed by Gore Verbinski. And before I go on, maybe put in a movie that you kind of got creeped out about in the theaters below in the comments, and you still won't watch to this day. I'm sure there's a bunch out there. It's a crazy experience. October 4th, we had Hostel, directed by Eli Roth, starring Jay Hernandez, Derek Richardson, and Ethor Gunnarsson. Three backpackers head to Slavic city that promises to meet their hedonistic expectations with no idea of the hell that awaits them. This came out on January 6th, 2006. Had a budget of $4.8 million, an opening of 9.5, and a gross 81.9. I can tell you, I was part of that 19.5 opening um, day, and I remember watching it and sitting next to me were two girls probably like my age when I went and saw The Ring, and I would have been a little bit older because I wouldn't have been 18 yet, but I've been just about 18 at that time period, and they had to leave the theater because they were vomiting from this movie. I agree that this movie is fucked up. There is an eyeball scene. Eyeball scenes always kind of mess me up. I don't like them, and it did kind of get me. And the Achilles scene both got me. This is definitely like torture porn, but at the same time, it is one of those like movies that when you kind of go back and watch it and like kind of like ignore all the torture porn aspects of it, has a pretty interesting story and like just like kind of very scary story to think about it if you're like backpacking Europe, planning on going to Europe or the American, or even just like a foreign country and anywhere, like you just kind of end up in this kind of situation, maybe and then like you're kind of fucked because there's no like NBC, there's no going back. You're just screwed. Like the kind of fucked up thing is um, when the guy finally realizes what's going on. Uh, to his buddy had already been dead. Like his dude could have got out of there and maybe even kind of like let people know what was going on way before he had to go through anything else. But this is one of those ones that if you haven't seen, I would just suggest watching it. It's only an hour and 20 minutes. It is a lot to take. It is kind of like sickening and gross. Unless you're kind of desensitized to that kind of stuff, then it's gonna be fine for you. But I would watch it. It was Hostel, directed by Eli Roth. Then October 5th, here we did Red Dragon in 2002, directed by Brett Ratner, starring Anthony Hopkins, Edward Norton, and Ralph Fiennes. A retired FBI agent with psychological gifts is assigned to help track down the Tooth Fairy. A mysterious serial killer aiding him is imprisoned. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter. This came out October 4th, 2002. It kind of bummed me out when I came back and looked at it and saw it came out October 4th. Like I really was gonna watch it the day before too. That'd been cool to kind of watch it on the day it came out 3 years ago. Jesus, anyhow, I'm still putting out stuff today. Budget of 78 million and opening at 36.5, gross of 209.1 million. This movie is awesome. Um, there's a lot of, I mean, I could have went with Silence of the Lambs to be honest with you. Hannibal Rising or whatever you want to do with Hannibal, you could have just really did. I went with Red Dragon because this is the one I saw in theaters, I believe. Either this one or Hannibal. I think I saw this one in theaters though. I probably saw both in theaters to be honest, but definitely saw this. But yeah, I mean, this is prime Edward Norton, prime Anthony Norton, or prime Anthony Hopkins, and prime Ralph Fiennes. The he Ralph Fiennes himself as the Tooth Fairy is like sadistic and awesome. Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman pops up in this. There's a couple other people that pop up in this that do pretty good roles here. Harvey Keitel, a couple other people, but this is one of the ones that this is a whole line of movies you should see if you just love movies in general. Because Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, this is how you like make craft a movie. This is a big studio budget movie for horror and everything involved with it. That is Red Dragon, directed by Brett Ratner. I will definitely be recording these as I watch these next week after doing it this week like this. Jeepers Creepers, directed by Victor Salva, starring Justin Long, Gina Phillips, and Jonathan Beck. A brother and sister driving home through isolated countryside for spring break encounter a flesh-eating creature which is in the midst of its ritualistic eating spree. August 31st, 2001 had a budget of 10 million, an opening of 37.9 million, and a gross of 59.3. So you just tell by the opening weekend we were going to get sequels to this. Honestly, Jeepers Creepers 2 isn't that bad, but I really do like Jeepers Creepers 3. I think that one's pretty awesome. It's not, they both are kind of different stories than the original Jeepers Creepers, but 3 is definitely better than 2. 1 is better than them both combined, but this is awesome. It's one of the first ones that Justin Long doesn't survive. If you get the running joke online where he just doesn't survive horror movies. Gina Phillips is really good in this. There's some crazy stuff going on in this. I would never go back to the house to check the shoot to see what he put in it. There ain't no way, ain't no how. I don't know why they decided to do that. It was just a bunch of poor mistakes after poor mistakes into this movie, kind of screwed them. But if you have not seen this one, still on Prime. This is a pretty good movie. Still holds up today. The demon character with like being like kind of prosthetic and practical, kind of it makes it a little bit more creepier than it should be. There's the song involved with this is pretty good, so definitely check it out. That is Jeepers Creepers, directed by Victor Salva. And then on October 7th, watch The Collector, directed by Marcus Dunstan, starring Josh Stewart, Andrea Roth, and Juan Fernandez. Desperate to repay his debt to his ex-wife, an ex-con plots a heist to his new employer's country home, unaware that a second criminal also targeted the property and rigged it with a series of deadly traps. This came out on July 31st, 2009, had a budget of 6 million and opening of 3.5 and a gross of 10.2. I believe the second one probably did better gross wise because once people watched it and realized that The Collector is actually a badass movie, it kind of moved on. This is the one like you can just tell by the money like budget 6 million opening that many people might not have seen. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. It is a wild movie. The guy goes into your house like right before you're about to be on a vacation with your family, and like he collects people through this way, and the people he doesn't collect, he kills. So he pretty much kills the whole family, and like he booby traps that whole fucking house. And when that guy, Josh Stewart, goes in to rob him, who thinks it's like going to be an easy robbery because he's been casing the house. He even kind of set up the house. He was the handyman for the house, so he kind of knows a lot about the house. Was not expecting to have that booby trap like that, and it was. I mean, it is crazy. There is a lot of gore for people who like gore. This is not, like I said, this is one of the ones you ever checked out. Check this movie out. It's on Prime. That is The Collector, directed by Marcus Dunstan. All right, bear with me here. We got two more for the rest of the week, and next week it won't be so long. You got to remember that we kind of took a pause here. October 8th, Candyman, directed by Bernard Rose, starring Virginia Madsen, Xander Berkeley, Tony Todd. The Candyman, a murderous soul with a hook for a hand, is accidentally summoned to reality by a skeptic grad student researching the monster's myth. This came out October 16th, 1992, had a budget of $6 million, a gross of $5.4 million, or no, an opening of 5.4 and a gross of $25.7 million. This one is phenomenal. This one is scary. This one freaked me the fuck out as a kid. It took me into way into adulthood to watch it again, and even then, I still was freaked the fuck out. This time, I watched it not so freaked out because like the sequels, I seen them, and then the new one that kind of came out kind of ruined any kind of lore where this one would have kept that would have scared you. But I mean, I guarantee that there are grown people that will not look into a mirror and say Candyman 5 times, and you can count me as one of them because I'm not fucking with that kind of fate. If you have not seen this movie, I suggest you see it. Tony Todd is a horror legend. Rest in peace. He just did the Final Destinations. We just did a couple other movies with him earlier in the year. So if you like Tony Todd, you have to like this movie. The B scene alone is just like epic. Um, Definitely check it out. It is on Prime. That is Candyman, directed by Bernard Rose. And we are on the last one here. We watched it today. October 9th, Tremors, directed by Ron Underwood, starring Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, and Finn Carter. Natives of a small isolated town defend themselves against strange underground creatures which are killing them one by one. This came out January 19th, 1990, had a budget of 11 million, an opening of 3.7 and a gross of 16.6. This came on to be a cult classic later on in its life, especially when it had VHSs. It would have been VHSs at the time. And I mean, I remember this movie as a kid. It's a PG-13 movie as well. There's a reason why it's on personal favorites. I mean, they're gonna make Tremor movies just to make Tremor movies, just because they can make Tremor movies for the rest of the time. I know what that sentence was like, but I said it. I'm talked a lot in the last half hour to do these. I will not be doing this again like this. If you have not seen this movie, definitely check it out. It is on Paramount. If you've never seen any of these movies, check them out. These are personal favorites. These are my guarantee movies that'll help, that will be good, that you will like. I guarantee it. I guarantee them to you. The horror genre is so fluid and so different, and these movies are definitely representative of that. If you have been paying attention all week, all sorts of different movies here. And that is Tremors, directed by Ron Underwood. Keep following for the rest of the month. We have 22 more just badass horror movies that we're going to cover for the rest of the month. It'll be a little bit better quality video because it'll be daily, and we'll get a little bit more nuggets into what the movie was. I just is trying to connect them with me too, because these are personal favorites for you guys. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section, and see you next time in the cave.